organism, and we diverted through mutations, like Jackson said. Mutations are changes that can be favorable or unfavorable. So those that are favorable survive, and those that are unfavorable do not survive. So yeah, that's all I have to say. Thank you.
You gave me an example of a eukaryotic cell engulfing a prokaryotic one, not a prokaryotic cell engulfing another prokaryotic cell to create a eukaryotic cell. Remember, prokaryotes were the only form of life on the planet for billions of years until eukaryotes came into the process of so-called evolution. Again, we have never seen this engulfment ever take place in nature amongst natural biogenetic organisms that, arise through biogenetic processes. We've only seen this happen with eukaryotes that have introgress genes.
Yeah, so saying that you have not seen it yet, evolution is a process of generations. It doesn't take place in 1,000 years. Evolution takes place in millions of years. It doesn't happen out of the blue. But if you've seen processes like conjugation of bacteria, where you find that different bacteria exchange genetic material through the pilus, through the those that have the plasmid and those without, you just see the communication taking on. So bacteria used to communicate. And it may be as asexual as you said, but it could be smexual in a way. I don't know if you get my point.
It's not smexual with prokaryotes because there's no third cell created from that horizontal gene transfer. So prokaryotes only transfer genetic material through vertical gene transfer from mother to offspring. When it comes to horizontal gene transfer, that type of conjugation is for them to share genetic information that they receive from the sun because they are autotrophic. So the Smex pilus doesn't create a new organism for that because prokaryotes split through binary fission. They split themselves to reproduce. They don't come together to reproduce. That would be smexual reproduction, which we only see with eukaryotes. So
yep, and the thing is, it's been millions of years since the planet's been formed, right? And we are not currently today seeing no forms of evolution. Evolution should be happening every day in every generation because it happens through reproduction.
No, again,
so when you was talking about mutations happen because of the sun. The sun either hold on for a second. I'm not gonna speak to y'all at the same time. Solar radiation is I forgot what I was gonna say, man.
Solar radiation is the primary cause of photocarcinogenesis and all genetic mutations. Yeah. So it doesn't matter what genetic mutation it is, each chromosome that they have is connected to mutations, and that is because of the sun. So prokaryotes don't mutate. All of their genetic material stems from one embryological origin, meaning that all of their genes are dominant. They only pass on dominant genes. They only pass on and make replications of themselves. So how would a prokaryote produce something that is a completely different species when it doesn't have the genetic material to do so?
But on top of that, have you thought of like the process of reproduction? A sperm is haploid and the ovary is also haploid. So that two haploid cells combine to form a diploid cell.
Right, but this is a haploid and a diploid from the same species. That's what I just explained with vertical gene transfer. They only procreate within the same species because they were the only life forms here. There was nothing else to procreate. Okay, y'all, we do one at a time. I promise I will get to everyone, but right now I'm having a conversation with homie. All right, so homie, go ahead and respond, and then I'll get to Paul. You're on mute. Go ahead.
Yeah, so I'll track back a little bit about the issue of the sun. I think the brother is confusing cancer with the sun, but yes, we can have mutations through the sun, which is through formation of pyrimidine dimers, where you have DNA bases like intercalating within the DNA, but those mutations are always like fixed. So the sun is not an assurance of, hey, we're having a mutation. And like I said, evolution takes millions and millions of years. It's not like, oh, we're going to see mutation today. No, it's a process that keeps on going and going.
So how come we haven't been able to see the engulfment through any records, through any fossils? How come we are unable to see this take place with the organisms that have been so-called evolving over time. We should be able to backtrack through the cells and the embryological origin if evolution took place. We can calculate speciation and microevolution through simple allelic frequency and division.
Yeah, but then if you track back and you see like we have prokaryotes where we have bacteria and we have archaea which are in the middle and then we have eukaryotes. When these organisms, when carbon dating is done in places where these organisms are found, you find the ages of these organisms. And like I said, we have for the for evolution as on a cell level is the endosymbiotic theory that I explained earlier, which I think you know very well, right? So, do you have any word towards endosymbiosis and any explanation?
That's what I just
Yeah.
that's what I just said. We've never seen to the mega per second a prokaryote engulf another prokaryote to create a eukaryotic cell. We're unable to trace that or observe it in nature today. The only way we can observe that engulfment is in vitro with cells that are already eukaryotic, with introgress organisms, right? But we can't see this engulfment take place between prokaryotes to create a eukaryotic cell. So I got you with that. I'm just going to move to the next guest and then I'll circle back to everybody. I will get back to you, Jackson. I just have to let other people speak. All right, Paul, evolution, the biggest lie ever told. How do you feel about the prompt with science, please?
So, I mean, are you looking at this from like a biblical standpoint or you just basic science?
Okay, so Jack, who is this on the bottom here? Unfolded laundry, evolution, the biggest lie ever told. How do you feel about the prompt with science?
I don't know if I can't definitively say it's the biggest lie ever told, but I can certainly say that there's reasonable. It's reasonable to doubt it, to put all your faith in it, and completely just blindly believe in something that you completely can't see. Is basically 90% of the argument that they're making for why we're wrong about the things that we say about creation. So, not to mention, there are notable scholars all throughout the planet who not only haven't observed. I mean, there's something like the missing ancestor problem. I don't know exactly how far you guys have been getting into this. I kind of obviously am jumping in the middle of it here, but you know, the argument that he was just making is the same kind of tired, stale argument that's always being made, is that, well, of course you can't visualize evolution happening over 1,000 years or 500 or 100 years. It happens over millions of years. When in fact that argument is something that works against them, in the sense that basically what happened is it was almost nothing, and then there's like this burst of like arthropods and mollusks and all these other like crazy species that came out of nowhere, versus the time frame where they were saying that it was basically just almost nothing. So the argument that they're making is, like I said, it kind of works against them, in the sense that you're saying it happens over millions of years, but this great massive expansion of life happened in almost no time.
Well, again, prokaryotes have been here for billions of years. It's the eukaryotic cell that's in question. Y'all's cells only go back 600,000 years. So that's the number one question in the world, is how the eukaryotic cell got on the planet. Because again, we've never seen the engulfment take place in nature. And when we look at the so-called human genome, it's a byproduct of introgression. Because pigs, chimpanzees, dogs, cats, cows, celery, potatoes, fruit flies, lice, ticks.
I could have swore you just said y'all's
naturally find each other attractive in nature to sexually reproduce.
Like your cells, like as in like my cells are.
All right, so I'm really trying to keep it like respectful. I'm asking for respect. I didn't cut you off, not one time when you spoke, and it says no over talking on the screen. All right. So the thing is that how did all these organisms come together to be within the human genome when these things don't naturally procreate and reproduce in nature? If chickens, if their cells only go back 2,000 years, how did it get within the so-called human genome? That's the question.
Am I good to talk now?
Go ahead.
Okay, so I have an answer to the prokaryotic eukaryotic thing, all right? So when you're saying that's the main thing in evolution, I think you're kind of misunderstanding that is just so we observe that there are prokaryotic cells and eukaryotic cells, obviously prokaryotic being the more simpler. And then the question was, okay, well, how do we get from prokaryotic to eukaryotic? And the one of the theories, and this is just the main theory that most people say that is at least like makes sense, is that, you know, like you said, a prokaryotic cell engulfed another prokaryotic cell and made a eukaryotic cell. And I know you doubt that, but that's just the main theory. Like other theories could come about given time. And the thing is, it is like while we have never observed that happening, I think that actually makes sense, right? Because if we did observe it happening, then it would kind of be plausible that we would have a bunch of different like types of eukaryotic cells, right? If we were going back all the way and it was so incredibly rare for that to happen, it would make sense that when that actual like thing happened, that it just wouldn't happen anymore, and we'd only see it once in evolution, just because of how rare it would be. So if this theory could be wrong, like I will give that to you, but I think that is not that I think this theory is not worth getting caught up on and saying that evolution is a lie, because this is just a theory that is in response to a certain part of evolution, which is a huge story. But overall, I just I don't understand why one would get caught up on this and be like, okay, this just.
So then don't request up, right? You're saying that now, but you came up here telling me that I was wrong and that you disagreed. Now you've heard the science, and now you've heard your counterparts get debunked. Oh, we shouldn't get caught up on this. No, you shouldn't be on the planet. Yeah.
Yeah, if prokaryotes never became eukaryotes, I'm going to pay attention to that. Best believe that, because that means that all the life that has more than one genetic within their cell is unnatural. The mitochondria and the endoplasmic reticulum, the central, the histones, all of those different proteins, enzymes, that's not yours.
You share stems, yes.
You share that DNA with other organisms. Your family is homeobox genes. They can turn certain genes on and off for you to look like a fruit fly, for you to look more like a monkey, for you to look like a pig.
You're saying that I'm too so-called dumb, but you couldn't answer the prompt to begin with, right? And then number two, I never told you what to think. I never told you how to think as a grown man, but you're trying to tell me to do it. Oh, I think you have it right. So why would you get hung up on it? You're trying to govern my energy and tell me what to do. And I'm asking you how you got on the planet. AI, artificial intelligence, trying to tell my own biological intelligence what to think and how to move. I'm asking you, how did these things come together within the human genome to create you? And you're telling me not to get caught up on it.
Yeah, that's not very
That's weird. Yeah, that's very weird for you to say that.
More of your feelings. Like, oh, don't get caught up on that.
Can I speak?
On the planet.
If we're speaking, then why would you see what I'm saying? That's why you was in the comments to begin with. All right. So evolution, the biggest lie ever told. Go ahead.
Yep.
You're on mute now.
Me?
Go ahead. Me looking ass. Go ahead. If you was on mute, how the fuck was he going to
Funny. I know. I know. I'm so stupid. The Neanderthal, right? That's where you think we came
Go ahead.
from. Neanderthal.
Evolution, the biggest.
How does it feel to be
told.
conquered and 20 average IQ points below the Neanderthals?
Well,
How does it feel to get? I got a better question. How does it feel to get conquered by the sun every motherfucking day?
Doesn't matter to me. I put sunscreen on.
Oh,
Didn't
so
affect
look
me
at
for
you
500
just
years.
falling for the trap.
Doesn't
I've
continue to
never
affect
worn
me today.
sunscreen a day in my life. Would you like for me to show you what sunscreen looks like under a UV camera? Would you like for me to? Don't worry about it. I'm just gonna do it for you anyway.
Guess how that has no effect on me or my ancestors?
It
Guess
does.
how it has every effect on
Look,
you and your
does.
ancestors?
look up right now the global heat crisis that Asia, Europe, and y'all in America are dealing with. By the thousands, y'all are dropping unalive. By the thousands.
You see the left side of her face?
Photocarcinogenesis.
The
Don't
left
mute
side
me,
of her
we're open
face is
panel.
literally. Please don't overtalk us. We'll get to you in a second, okay? Please. The
But
left
you're
side
always
of her
talking,
face.
though.
All right, so then we'll just wait. All right. The left side of her face is what you look like under a UV camera. Look at you trying to look like me on a solar radiated planet, and you can't synthesize none of the sun's frequencies, not even solar or terrestrial radiation. This nigga just said out his mouth, I wear sunscreen. You do know that that's only like what? To protect you for what, 15, 20 minutes, and it's no protection at all. Because this is about what's happening to you on a cellular level, on a biological level, the nucleus literally being deteriorated and removed due to acute body radiation. So again, I don't know why y'all think that you can just come in here and talk about conquered. You didn't conquer us. We got in this state that we're in today because of disease, because of venereal disease. When we first came in contact with y'all, y'all wiped out 2 continents plus others with disease. The reason why my people don't know who they are today is because they're fucking sick from mixing with you niggas. We were dropping like flies the moment we came in contact with y'all seminal fluids. If we were the same species, that shit wouldn't have happened. That wasn't happening with 2 so-called black people. That only happened when we mix with y'all. Hemolytic disease, zoonotic diseases, and ischemia only happens when we procreate with y'all and when y'all procreate with each other. All right, so bring science and do not bring feelings. All right, horse, interesting choice of a name. Evolution, the biggest lie ever told. How do you feel about the prompt with science?
What do you mean by my name?
Go ahead.
I believe in evolution simply because it's basically 100% fact.
Go ahead and tell
Explain
us. How did haploids turn into diploids?
We'll see. I haven't read every science textbook for
Exactly.
dummies.
Don't worry about
okay.
all that.
I'm more
Tell
here
us
for
what you know.
no, just
100%.
hear me out. I'm acting in good faith here. I want to hear you guys out. If there's a discussion taking place, I want to, engage.
We've been telling
If
you
you
to
guys
go
know the
ahead,
truth.
and you're still on your introduction. Please go ahead.
I'm not a biologist. I'm not going to sit here and break
So
down
you can't
evolutionary
explain it.
processes.
So you can't explain it.
I don't sit up on panels and think about this.
Thanks for playing. Fuck.
You sat up here this whole
you did
time
it this
and
whole
thought
time. You
to say what the
requested
fuck
up.
you had to say out your damn mouth.
Oh
The
my
fuck?
gosh,
You
man.
couldn't say any. So you're telling me to learn about biology, I need to go to college. I can't buy a biology book. I can't buy biology books and read for myself. Like, come on, y'all.
Mind you, prokaryotes and eukaryotes is 5th grade science. A 10-year-old can come in here and lay down the basics for us, and we could take it from there.
It's 5th grade science.
Oh, I'm not a biologist. You don't have to be. A 10th grader can do it. Are you smarter than a 5th grader? Tell me, I want to have the discussion, but you can't.
Like, come on, yeah.
Y'all got to stop playing, man. You said you wanted to hear us out, but you heard us. You heard us talk to Jackson, and you was over talking too. So you wanted to just hear and not say shit because you didn't have no science. And I say it. Now I'm starting to say it. Please come in here with science and explain whatever it is. And y'all still like talk and like proceed to talk.
So you can't explain to us how you have a nucleus from a different species, how you have a mitochondria from the different species, how you have centrals from a different species, how you have chloroplasts from a different species. You can't explain how all of that got into your cells, but you're trying to tell me you natural.
And you're trying to say that scientists are 100% correct and they can't even explain it. No scientist on the globe has ever seen haploids turn into diploid cells in nature.
Yep.
They model it with eukaryotic cells and spliced prokaryotes in synthetic biology.
Exactly. So
and they must be in a eukaryotic environment. Those cells would not be able to withstand in nature because they were literally created in vitro. So who is this? AC Bryant, Evolution, the biggest lie ever told. How do you feel about the prompt with science?
Repeat that. How do I feel about the prompt with science? So you want me to answer with science?
yes.
Could you explain to me like how I'm supposed to like do that? Like I kind of want to have a conversation with y'all to like figure out like why y'all don't believe in it, why y'all feel like it's a lie.
Oh my gosh.
Do you know what science means?
But do you agree or disagree with the prompt?
I disagree.
Okay, so then explain why you disagree.
With science, genetically, biologically, and morphologically, explain it to us.
Because scientifically, evolution is one of the most like backed up theories. Like that's just science. That's just straight up facts. Like I think there's a bunch more interesting things we can talk about from what y'all have said, but I don't like y'all gotta ask me questions, right? Like if y'all want me to get down to like the scientific breakdown.
That's somebody that don't know. I never need anybody to give me a kickstart for me to talk about prokaryotes and eukaryotes, biogenesis versus spontaneous generation, because I know what I'm talking about. You don't.
So you believe in these
somebody
concepts?
to throw you a bone so you can try to pick at it. Go ahead and tell us why you disagree. No, that's not someone that wants to genuinely have a conversation.
I do want to have a conversation.
If you overtalk me though, I'm gonna just kick you out of the live.
Okay. The thing is, you said that the information that you have on the evolution theory was backed up. There was evidence. So go ahead and tell us the evidence that backs up your scientific claim with
DNA.
Science. Okay, go ahead and talk. Don't just say DNA.
The fossil record. Right. That's those are the two strongest. Right. DNA and the fossil record. So pick one. Pick DNA.
You're saying DNA. You're saying DNA, but this breaks down to two cellular form types on life. So DNA of what? What type of cell? What type of organism?
Of all life.
Look, if you, I'm gonna give you one last time. All right. Okay. How did haploids turn into diploid cells?
I don't think I can necessarily explain that to you, and I don't know what that.
Thank you. Let's do Boards of Max. Evolution, the biggest lie ever told. He left. Go ahead. Jay, Evolution, the biggest lie ever told. How do you feel about the prompt with science?
It definitely could possibly be the biggest lie ever told. I think there's some huge historical issues with it, and then also willing to explore more about it. And I just kind of wanted to hear what you had to say. I'm not really in opposition, I guess.
So why didn't you tell us what you thought about it? Why didn't you tell us anything of what you know about the evolution theory? You see what I'm saying? And if you don't know, then why don't you take time with your own mind, your own energy, with yourself to learn this information of what's really taking place on this planet and what has been taking place on the planet? Can I ask you those things?
So I guess it's more about like, I guess certain philosophies I've read about that kind of challenge like evolutionary like concepts, like and evidential arguments against naturalism. And so I've like seen like people kind of make pretty convincing arguments that like evolution doesn't really like provide any like truth tracking or anything like that. It's just kind of like it's about survivability, and like you could survive off a lie. So like, does evolution really concern itself with the truth at all? Or is it just about being able to survive? And that's it. And if it's just about being able to survive, then I could lie to people my whole life, and you know what I'm saying? It doesn't really track any truth. I could just deceive people all day. And because I deceive people, I'm able to survive, gain power, et cetera, et cetera. Like, it just gets into these ridiculous I guess, spaces of thought.
I got you with that. Dietrich Lewis, Evolution, the Biggest Lie Ever Told. How do you feel about the prompt with science?
So I feel like the prompt is completely wrong, because basic evidence proves that evolution did happen. Just off the fossil record alone, that proves it, but there's a lot of other processes that can prove it.
It's interesting that y'all say the fossil record, like billions of years. Like I think they say that Earth is what, 4+ billion years, and they all got this one record. So which record are you talking about?
Well, the what do you mean which record? The fossil record's pretty clear. We find a fossil, we date it with carbon dating to see how old it is, and then we just put it along the line. And I just want to clarify, evolution does not say that we evolved directly from monkeys. We share a common ancestor with monkeys. That's like saying your cousin is your... I just wanted to clarify that as well.
Okay, so again, I heard you say fossil record and it was singular. And then when I asked you that, you changed it to making it plural. So now you're insinuating, let me respond to you, please. Now you're insinuating that there's several different fossil records that have been carbon dated to prove the engulfment in the base premise of evolution. So now I'm going to ask you for at least 1 to 3 of those examples of a prokaryote engulfing another one to create a eukaryotic cell or organism in nature.
Okay, so those are 2 separate arguments. Are we arguing whether evolution as a process happens at all or evolution as an origin?
What does the prompt say?
It just says evolution is the biggest lie. But you said
you bringing up
eukaryotic cells, which would be...
Yeah, that's the base premise of evolution. It starts with prokaryotes, which were the only life forms on the planet. Prokaryotes are organisms that get all of their genetic material from one embryological origin, meaning that they are 100% that organism. They don't share genetic material with other organisms. They don't need stem cells or blood from other organisms. A eukaryotic cell is a multicellular cell, a complex cell organism, meaning that their genetic material stems from multiple origins. So the base premise is explaining how prokaryotes were here first until more complicated eukaryotes came into the process of so-called evolution. What is the process of so-called evolution? Boom, endosymbiosis, the engulfment of one to create another. That's why we're starting there. You want to talk to me about monkeys, but I'm asking you, how did the monkey get on the planet? Hello? I want to talk about the entire so-called human genome. I don't want to talk about monkeys. I want to talk about all life, because that's what evolution is talking about. All life forms on the planet. Microorganisms, plants, animals, insects, so-called humans.
Yeah, no matter if you're talking about fossils, all of these fossils, all of these bones, all of these organisms, all of these plants, all revert back to a cell. So
okay, but that's...
the cell is prokaryotic or the cell is eukaryotic, and eukaryotic is new.
Yeah, so but that's the thing. This is 2 separate arguments. The prompt is, does evolution happen? Or is evolution a lie?
Don't change the word.
Don't change the word.
Okay. The prompt is evolution the biggest lie ever told?
Don't change
Even creationists,
I remember back when I was a monkey and shit.
Have common sense and know that evolution
I was like fucking
climbing
through the trees and shit.
Are you arguing origin of life, or are you arguing that evolution happens at all? Because it does for sure. If we want to get into if evolution
and
started
the base
life
premise of evolution and how prokaryotes engulf one another to create a eukaryotic cell organism is a lie, because we've never seen it happen in nature. That's the argument. If you want, like, am I clear or am I not?
And if a prokaryote never changed into a eukaryote, now eukaryotes can explain their existence through biogenesis. There's only one other explanation: synthetic biology, genetic splicing, CRISPR-Cas9. Y'all came about the same way a banana can get made in a lab. The same way a broccoli can get made in the lab, that's the same way y'all came into existence through an ectowomb, through ectogenesis. You see what I'm saying? The first white man, the first Asian man, the first Arab man, All of y'all came from a lab, and all y'all women too. Y'all don't come from natural biogenesis. You don't come from so-called black people. We don't have so-called black people don't have animal DNA. So how did y'all come from us? And how does a eukaryote come from a prokaryote? That's what we're talking about in here.
That's what
the biochemical changes. The biochemical differences that's within us and y'all. That's what we're talking about.
Boards of Mex, evolution, the biggest lie ever told. Go ahead and explain how you feel with science.
What's going on, guys? I'm basically here for the same reason Jay is. I'd say evolution exists for. I mean, we can prove it in a few ways. Bacteria evolving, resistance to antibiotics. All known life using the same genetic code. DNA and RNA, things like that. Happy to hear you guys out.
Wait, what did you say? Like, what did you say you were here for? What was that?
Here to hear what you guys have to say about evolution.
Okay, you've already been hearing what we were saying since you were here when we were talking to the other people, and you also requested backup in the live. So
I glitched out right away.
So I got you, but you have been hearing us. So now
until there's more spaces, can I just sit on mute and just?
All right. Who's next?
Chase, evolution, the biggest lie ever told. How do you feel about the prompt with science? With science.
Hello?
Yeah, I can hear you. Go ahead.
Evolution, that's false.
Why?
We came from Adam and Eve.
Can you explain that scientifically and genetically?
Oh yeah, it's actually very interesting. In the beginning there was light. God said, "Let there be light." Then He grabbed a pile of dirt, and he clayed up Adam and Eve, and took the rib out, and some years later, here we are. Thank you for your time.
So first of all, y'all like coming in here saying that because you can't prove it. So this is the question that I was about to ask. Can I look? What the fuck is wrong with these people, man?
Mentally
if
deranged.
I'm talking, why would you talk over me? Come on, y'all. Respect. All right. So the thing is,
I'm talking. Don't talk over me, whore.
Grown men. So the thing is that y'all like talking about religion and God, but the question is, God created so-called Adam and Eve, right? And Adam and Eve had children. These children would have been siblings. So how the hell do we all come from them? Isn't that incest? The light is actually talking about the zinc spark. It's talking about electrons and how they pass light to other electrons. All religion is allegorical for what actually took place on this planet. Genesis is talking about parthenogenesis. The void is the womb. Let there be light is the zinc spark. Eve is the so-called electron. Atom is atom, atom. Protons and electrons. When you look at how these particles, these atoms move in the universe, in the cosmos, which are the building blocks of life, which are what create cells, by the way, this is feminine and masculine energy, atomically and subatomically. These particles begin to vibrate at a speed that then turn into cells, right? Cells that turn into tissues, tissues create the organs. These people don't break down to atoms, they break down to calcium ionospheres. So they're not made of the fabrics of the universe. They're not made of the protons and electrons. That's why they can't take light.
Yep.
That's why they can't synthesize sunlight and terrestrial radiation, because they're not composed of it. So there are 8 different types of melanin, and the type of melanin that you have is explaining the type of DNA that you have. So if you can't synthesize the radiation and the full spectrum of it on this planet, you're not natural to it. Why have we never seen the type of evolution where a so-called Asian woman creates a black so-called black woman. Why have we never seen that? Why can't y'all create me? Why haven't we seen that type of evolution? We're all here on the planet. Y'all are saying that it takes billions of years, but out of all the children that's been born in my lifetime, I've never seen a so-called Asian woman give birth to a so-called black woman, or a so-called black woman give birth to an Asian woman, or a Dravidian woman give birth to a Chinese woman. It's never happened. All right. So who is this? Dr. Hilo or Hilo? Go ahead. Evolution, the biggest lie we're told. How do you feel about the prompt with science?
Hey, how you doing? I think, I believe in evolution, but I think you think of it in a different way. Like you're more superior, or you're black people are more superior because you're black skin, right?
No.
All right.
Oh no, the cells that we are, this is not about race or racism or none of that. We're discussing our cells and our genetics, our biology and our DNA. So this has nothing, race is not biological.
Hey,
All right.
and stop eating on the mic like that. You feel what I'm
nasty as
saying?
hell.
You're over here eating parasites and stuff and having oral meiosis and all of that shit going on.
Letting off microbes and shit. We don't want to hear that.
Hear all that.
Man, God, you need.
Yeah. So bring science next time instead of feelings.
Come on, doctor. Bring
come
science.
on, Dr. Hilo. And you smacking like that because you can't taste the food. Because you don't have neuromelanin. Exactly. You have the in vitro version of it. And I'd argue that you don't have it at all. Your scientists are trying to say that y'all gain it at ages 3 to 5. But if it's not congenital for you, how are you gaining it at any portion of your lifetime outside of that?
Exactly. And us explaining our biochemical differences with you is saying that it's in telling you in your head that we're superior to you. If that's what you think. All we're telling y'all is that we're different from you and we shouldn't be living in the same society. Y'all shouldn't be policing us. You shouldn't be medically and psychologically evaluating us and our children. And there's no reason for us to integrate in this society because we have two different levels of consciousness, because we have two different genetic material, two different cellular types, two different anatomies, two different phenotypes, which means we have two different genotypes. There's no reason. That's what this live is for.
Negative into positive. Evolution, the biggest lie we're told. How do you feel about the prompt with science?
I don't know. I've just been sitting here listening to the man in the back speak, and you know, put in your level of intelligence or understanding of what he's, promoting and what he abides by. I mean, I wouldn't say that, I didn't come up here to like really, slander anybody's belief or, anything, but I definitely recommend you guys to study a little bit more. That's all I'm going to say. Just study a little bit more.
Here. Study your cells and how they only stretch back 6,000 to 7,000 years.
This nigga came up and told us how he feel about us.
Again, you're a grown man.
Like, you grown ass nigga. Come up here and tell us morphologically and genetically and biologically how we're wrong.
That's it. I think you guys need to study more. But guess what? We're sitting next to all of our textbooks. I have books pinned on my page. We post sources all the time. We've been going live, talking to geneticists, biologists, kinesiologists for over the course of 4 years. So we haven't been debunked on TikTok by nobody.
We've talked to evolutionary biologists, and they haven't been able to prove evolution.
Matter of fact,
you think y'all finna come up here and tell us about that shit? Nah.
Hello?
So the thing is that we don't do over talking. All right. So Mad Land, somebody was already up here before you. Okay. Go ahead, Bear Shark Industries with science, please. Please explain.
How you guys doing?
Okay, go ahead. These niggas be eager as hell, and then they can't even answer the question.
One at a time,
bro. You just heard me say that.
Hi, how are you all? Are you guys familiar with the Sable Island horses in Canada?
Evolution, the biggest lie we're told. Just go ahead and tell us if you agree or disagree with science.
I agree with science, and the reason I was pointing out the Sable Island horses is that it's a very observable instance of evolution that's occurred over just a few hundred years.
Can you
Are you
go ahead
familiar?
and explain and like expand on the full premise of how prokaryotes engulf one another to create eukaryotes? Can
Yeah.
you explain how all these different organisms got within the human genome and how
Okay,
all life on the
that
planet is
isn't the
connected
prompt
through a
that you all
single
have up
embryological
on the
origin through
page.
biogenesis?
You see how you was talking when she was talking? So how are you what are you responding to? You
I'm
see?
responding to the prompt that you all have up on the page if it's the biggest lie
But
ever, and I'm saying that
no, you're
you're
having a
talking over me.
conversation.
So
Shut your fucking
you
mouth,
all
you
really
look
love
dumbass
to hear
at
yourself talk,
motherfucking
don't you?
monkey.
Yeah.
You just really love to hear yourself
Chromosomal
talk.
deletions.
Today, man.
1p36 deletion syndrome. You see what I'm saying? You want me to read off the chromosomal deletions, which is why y'all are gonna act more erratic on the planet? You see what I'm saying? Stop playing with me, y'all. Y'all unaliving. You see what I'm saying? 3q27 deletion syndrome. This all causes Tay-Sachs disease. You see what I'm saying? Neural inflammation. Your cells don't know how to be civilized with each other. You see what I'm saying? Your organs don't know how to civilize with each other. You see what I'm saying? It takes 24 hours for your cells to split. It takes 20 minutes for ours to split. So the thing is, I just want y'all to come up here and tell us the science. Don't come up here asking us a question about horses, birds, monkeys.
This is about the
Homo
origin of their
sapien.
cells. This is about the
Like,
origin of
facts.
all the dogs and the cats that y'all want to talk about. We're talking about how did the cell get on the planet? If these organisms have introgress genes and nature does not introgress, how did the cell for cats get on the planet when cats share DNA with snakes? How did penguins get on the planet when penguins share DNA with seals and fish and birds? When we don't see fish, seals, or birds procreate with each other in nature to create anything. All right, so Kel, evolution, the biggest lie ever told. How do you feel about the prompt using science?
Well, really, I just wanted to I agree with you guys. I just wanted to understand why you believe what you believe.
All right, so mastermind, evolution, the biggest lie ever told. How do you feel about the prompt with science? You're on mute.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can.
Well, here's what I think about evolution and how it was created. I think we all started from two types of from a Yeti and from a Bigfoot. The Yeti was the white side, the Bigfoot was the black side, and they crossbred them to create all the other foreigners, which is Middle Easterns, Asians, and all the other stuff. But the two origins of people came from the Yeti and Bigfoot. That's why you got white and black people. That's where the term white was created and black was created. From the Yeti and the Bigfoot, and they crossbred us.
How did the Yeti have introgress genes? How did it get on the planet? Bigfoot has introgress genes. How did it get on the planet?
Well, you got to remember, I mean, all they did is domesticate us with modern medicine from whoever created us, from modern medicine, and slowly we were created to be domesticated to look like this right now, as we look like humans.
Who is they, or what do you mean?
Who was the creator? Somebody apparently higher than humans, because we were created to be humans. We were domesticated to be humans.
Yeah, y'all have the eukaryotic cell. Y'all were created. Y'all have the introgress cells and genes, homeobox and hamstrung genes, but so-called black people don't have cells that can be spliced or cut into. And John Biggerstaff, let me respond to you, all right?
Yeah.
John Biggerstaff and another female scientist that did the experiment with him said that so-called black people's cells function like black holes. You need electroporation, magnetofection, and cell sonication to cut into cells. And they said that when they went in to splice our cells, that they function like a black hole because light absorbs light. Neuromelanin is the only biochemical substance that is condensed sunlight and can condense sunlight. So when you go to splice or cut into our cells, you can't, because they cannot, to the date, isolate the electron. So y'all are the ones that constantly get abducted and spliced and experimented on, because you have a DNA. Let me respond to you, please. Because you have a DNA sequence that is non-conducive to each other. A synthetic biologist literally said that if he wanted to add rice DNA to horse DNA, that those two genetics, those two cells will repel each other. They don't even want to be together. And that's why we see retrotransposons within y'all's genome. That's why we see in y'all's protein synthesis, we see spliceosomes. That's why we see isn't it a lack of introns within the eukaryotic cell? That's why y'all need a nucleus to actually communicate all of your genetic material through, because these organisms don't naturally communicate smexually, biologically, genetically, morphologically to be together.
Okay, hold up.
So y'all, yeah, my bad. I had to think about it. Eukaryotes have introns. That's what's actually needed to help y'all undergo y'all's protein synthesis. You have the SD versus the Kozak sequence.
Yep, and the thing is, yeah, when that horse DNA and that rice DNA is like when they repel each other. So what they really do is get something that is genetically similar in stature, like the horse. So they would get a zebra and enucleate the horse cell and add the zebra's nucleus inside of the enucleated horse cell, and then it would accept it. You see what I'm saying? Through certain UV light that is being used, because different melanins can only take so much UV light. Then it's not like neuromelanin where it absorbs the entire light spectrum. So after they add that zebra DNA, the nucleus within that horse, now they can easily add that rice DNA and it would accept the rice DNA.
And you're talking about who is this? What is her white ass? Mary End. Y'all sure be having some weird ass names.
You're into that
Hold
racist
on for a
stuff.
second. Hold on. You're saying racist, but this is about DNA. So let me just help you out. All right. So the thing is, she's talking about she's full of crap. You can look it up. So look up John Biggerstaff. That's what I said. Look up your counterpart, nigga that look just like you, and a white lady. All right. Literally said they performed an experiment on our cells that are coated in neuromelanin. I'll give you another source. Dr. Edward Bruce Bynum, Dr. Richard King, Dr. T. Owens Moore, and Dr. Ann C. Brown. So it's not just them, all right? Our cells are coated in neuromelanin. That's the reason why we express our genes differently. That's the reason why we phenotypically present differently. If we had the same melanin, I would look just like you and you would look just like me. But clearly we see that is not the case. So y'all want to be like us until it's time to stand in the sun. So fuck this. How about we just go outside, everybody in the live, high noon tomorrow, 8 to 12 hours, 1 bottle of water, you and me. How about we do the greatest test, the sun test? Everybody turn their cameras on and we run that test. Talking about she's full of crap. I'm full of the sun. You full of introgress genes that can't even take the sun. Can't biosynthesize the sun. Your hair falls down to the ground like a dog. When I walk past y'all, y'all smell like animal proteins and enzymes. Like wet. You smell wet as fuck. Like mold. Your scientists are saying that your cells are not even alive because it needs stem cells from other organisms to function. Y'all talking about yourselves like that. Talking about Mary End. It's the end for show. 40,000 to 60,000 of your people are getting smacked by the sun right now as we speak in Europe.
Just in Europe. You see what I'm saying? Another 30,000 in India, in Asia. Every day in France, 2,000 of your people are just falling like flies. You see what I'm saying? So that's the thing. Like, this is how we know y'all don't have neuromelanin, because neuromelanin is highly concentrated in the nuclear region in the cytoplasm of our cells. And only cells that have nuclear regions is, again, prokaryotes. Eukaryotes have a nucleus, which can only be stationary and be in one spot of the cell. The nucleoid region, you see what I'm saying, is just a gel-like matrix where the DNA, which is the circular neuromelanin chromosomal DNA, which just floats within the cell freely. See what I'm saying? It can move around the cell freely, regulating certain protein synthesis, different information that comes in and out of the cell, sending protons, granites through the cell membrane, which is just neuromelanin, because our neuromelanin is what coats the cell. It's the brain of the cells. You see what I'm saying? And we use nucleoid associated proteins to do that. You see what I'm saying? Such as DPS, LRP, HU, and FIS proteins. You see what I'm saying? And these act as transcriptional regulators. It keeps the DNA organized and compact. And during supercoiling, when we receive information from the sun. You see what I'm saying? When so-called black people, when we obtain sunlight within our cells, light dependent reaction starts to take place. You see what I'm saying? So even from like harmful environmental stress and oxidative stress, our neuromelanin protects us from that by creating a crystalline shield with the DPS protein. You see what I'm saying? So yeah, that's what I was going to say about that. That's how we know that y'all don't have neuromelanin and that we do, because we undergo black body radiation under the sun.
Evolution, the biggest lie ever told. Go ahead, Jonah. Please use science to explain whatever you're... See? Genetic expression. You came in here, waited patiently to do that. This is y'all's genes expressing. Like, none of our people come in here and do that. We can be chemically imbalanced all day long. We're not going to do shit like that.
Exactly.
So we can literally see phenotype. Pheno means to show or showing, and type is how you are classified. We can classify you by your behavior. Behavior is something that's often left out when it comes to phenotype. Everybody wants to talk about characteristics, skin, hair, but behavior is the last thing that's in that sentence, and the last thing that's in that list that nobody gives enough recognition to. These people express that's why ketchup is spicy to them. You see what I'm saying? That's why they soon as they step out the car, they be in the car with the shades on, with the tint on the windows in AC. Their air has to be conditioned in order for them to even do the basic shit that they doing.
Yeah.
So you're not natural. You're not. Y'all are getting sunburnt in 80-degree weather. I'm like, what the hell? Sunburnt. You want to know why? Because I was thinking about this. I'm like, how the hell do all these people here have these sunburns and it's cloudy today? Y'all, it takes y'all 24 hours to regenerate y'all cells. It takes you a whole day, and it only takes us 20 minutes. Y'all are still recovering from the day when it was 100 degrees. They can cool off the next day all they want to. Y'all are still trying to recover from a day ago. You wake up still synthesizing what you couldn't yesterday.
Yep.
Yeah, YT man just came in here a minute ago talking about I wear sunscreen. Of course you do. We know that. We know that. Is that natural though? Having to put lotion on your skin to block out the sun, is that natural?
Like, the thing is,
what the hell? That's technology,
your DNA
bro.
has to ask the mitochondria and the centrols. They have to ask permission to send proteins out of the cell, into the cell, and inside the cell. This is why it takes 24 hours for your cells to produce.
Evolution, the biggest lie ever told. Go ahead, 9. You're on mute. Did you mean to request up? 9. You're on the panel. Did you mean it? 9 Brooks. Did you mean to request up?
Okay, my microphone wasn't on. Can you hear me now?
Yeah, go ahead.
I just want to say you guys have hit the bullseye, I believe, and thank God for social media, because all this information you guys are giving out would have never been heard by anybody, and it is amazing what you guys are debating on. I just love it. That's all I wanted to say.
Well, we wouldn't need this social media if our people had knowledge of self already, because we
True.
need, you see what I'm saying?
True.
We need
True.
the real connection, the real neural link, the neurochemical link through morphogens, through our morphic field is that's the way that we need to be connecting with each other. We need
True,
to
I
be
agree with
connecting
you.
with each other with our neuromelanin, with our ego.
Right.
This is how we're able to send telepathic messages with each other through thought transmission. We don't need to
Exactly.
use phones to send pictures. We can do that with our mind. You see what I'm saying? Symbols, different sacred geometrical shapes. So I would
Right.
just advise you, my brother. Thank you for that. I would just advise you to learn more about your DNA and
Yeah, I'm trying to.
learn more about prokaryotic and eukaryotic cells, so you can
Yeah,
know how to structure what you're seeing.
because of you guys, I'm in the process of doing that.
Okay, gratitude, my brother. Gratitude for that.
Thank you.
Right. And I wanted to say another thing. According to late doctors of psychiatry, Francis Cress Welsing, MD, and Richard King, MD, they said that the black color of neuromelanin allows its chemical structure to absorb, store, and generate light and sound energy. This ability of black people to absorb the most sunlight allows black people to have the higher level of perception and the highest ability to communicate with the spirit world. And the spirit world is just what? Life from microcosm to macrocosm, dealing from bacteria and all the way down to electrons, all the way up to celestial organisms, galaxies, and black holes and stars. That's what it's talking about. And we're able to be in consistent communication through radio waves. I just wanted to say that.
Somebody said that's because I'm trying to go back. Everything has melanin besides. No, that's not true. YT people have melanin. It's just a different kind than yours. They have a lot of melanin, to be exact. It's just not the same kind. They have in vitro eumelanin, pheomelanin, and neuromelanin. Eumelanin and pheomelanin are on opposite ends of the spectrum. So depending on the cell, depending on who we're talking about and the radiation in the atmosphere, they will turn into each other. They have the in vitro or the synthetic versions of that melanin. So you have 5 basic types of melanin that are natural to this planet amongst all organisms, and then you have 3 synthetic versions of that. And that's what these people break down to having. All right. So,
yeah. I would advise people to look up all fields of science. You see what I'm saying? And for the telepathy and to learn more about how your neuromelanin receives and emits frequencies, you should look up parapsychology and extrasensory perception. You see what I'm saying? We should look those things up. You should look up the differences between all types of melanin, the different cell types. You see what I'm saying? How different parts of the body work. Because this is how they're tricking us. This is how they're psychologically tricking us to choose low frequencies every day, because they understand our science and we don't understand our science of self.
That's such a problem, man. It's such a problem. Like, we can't call these people dogs and still work for the system.
Exactly.
We can't say this on TikTok and still pay for water. Like, we gotta manifest this shutdown through the mind. Because right now we don't have the so-called physique, or our anatomy is not in the best state of it we're not in the right consciousness to actually combat this like we are supposed to. So that's something that you really do have to go within and sharpen the mind to really allow that to reflect out. This shit could have been shut down, but we still trying to choose the system. That's the problem. We still think we're the same as these people. And if you don't know the genetics behind who these people are, that's where they're going to get you. And that's what my other half is talking about. That's why we're still here. We can know, like, oh, okay, yeah, they're connected to animal DNA, but y'all will still say we're the only humans. That's loud and wrong, right? No shade to the brother because he has the information now, right? But a minute ago he said they don't have melanin. Yeah, they do. All living things have melanin. So we got to be able to get the truth, because that's where they fucking us up. History is about how they scientifically experimented on us and jotted it down.
Yep.
That's literally it. That's why I would never, if I was talking to a starseed or the next generation right now, I wouldn't tell them to look at history. Look, you talking to somebody that majored in history and I quit in the same breath because I'm like, number one, everything is contradicting itself. I was a liberal arts major and then I minored in African American studies. You would have to know that all of that is contradicting itself. Genetics is what helps you see the truth, because everything on this planet is operating out of its genetics.
Yep.
A crocodile or an alligator doesn't know that you're calling it that. It's only doing what's within its genetics. Elephants do what they do because of their genetics. We don't look the same as these people because we are not the same genetically. We're not composed of the same biochemical substance, right? We don't stem from the same embryological origin.
Yeah, we got to stop looking at life through human lenses and upgrade to lenses that is more cosmogenic. You see what I'm saying? Hydrocarbon lenses. You see what I'm saying? Etheric lenses, where we used our first eye. You see what I'm saying? Your two eyes are your thieves. They will have you looking at everything that's shiny the whole time while not knowing that you are the shiny thing that you're looking for. That's all I'm gonna say.
The brother said in Ethan. Facts. Yeah, somebody said, how have the YT, they haven't taken over anything. Really. They were able to do it with disease. So you got to understand that when y'all say things like that, you're manifesting the reality. That's why I want us to check our perspective and how we're actually perceiving the world, the matrix that we're in, and who these people actually are. They didn't overtake you.
Yep.
If they overtook you, you wouldn't be here. That's what it means to overtake. That means to conquer, meaning that we wouldn't be here. So they're using you and living off of your G side. You shrink in frequency the moment you came in contact with their microbiome. These people are nasty as fuck. All venereal diseases are connected to their DNA. That's how. When we first came in contact with their seminal fluids, we were dropping like flies. What? 2 continents plus others. You might as well say every continent that we know of has been infiltrated with disease. Every disease that we see today is because of these people. And they're not natural to the cancer is not natural to the planet. The presence of antigens and blood types are unnatural to this planet. They're unnatural to our blood. They're connected to animals. And that's because it's been added over 4,000 years worth of grape. Now they're attached to the red blood cells. And it gets passed down through epigenetics. Right? When the cell goes to create itself, because we hold memory, that gets passed down. So that's why we have to eat according to our genetics. That's why we have to be in the sun. That's why we have to do what we can in this frequency to detox. You should be in a constant state of detox. You should never not be detoxing. When they're poisoning the air, when the water is aquamated, you should be always detoxing. 20 minutes of sunlight unalives 200 plus microbes. It might be more than that. It might be like 200,000. I know it's 200 for sure. And your cells regenerate every 20 minutes. So you need to be in the sun because the sun right now is emitting a gene mutating, detoxifying, germ unaliving wavelength. It's hitting all life forms and it's breaking their cells down while building yours up. But if you don't have the right environment to properly build the cells, you see what I'm saying? Allow more light in the brain, neuromelanin. If you're not doing those things to stay up in your optimal health, then it doesn't matter. So I see that Mahanda is back. Okay, he did it by accident. Mahanda, if you want to request up, you can. I don't know, it's like your 5th time requesting up. If you want to, then request up. There he go. Maybe it just took him some time, or did you do that? It's taking you a minute to load in. You might have to. Okay, go ahead.
Hello?
Yeah.
So when you say evolution is the biggest lie, do you mean human evolution or animal evolution?
Evolution, the theory that pertains to all life forms. How do you feel about the prompt with science?
Well, I mean, I feel like human evolution, honestly, I don't believe that's true because I believe that God created us humans, like, without us being monkeys and evolving into humans. Like, we are born as humans and we started as humans. We never were like primates or Neanderthals or anything like that. But I don't understand why you don't think that animal evolution is true because it's like literally proven. like a million times.
So so-called God created animals to evolve, but humans have animal DNA. So how are they not evolving?
Well, it doesn't matter if they have animal DNA. Humans were made, like, in a religious purpose. Like, humans were made to serve God.
I'm really letting you be up here because I asked you for science and you bring in religion. So you really shouldn't even be up here. So if you don't have science, then you're not gonna really answer my questions respectfully.
Okay, that's okay. Then let's stick with like just irregular animals. Like, it's literally been proven that animals evolve. I don't understand why that's a lie.
Which ones and how? What was the genotypic change and the genetic marker for the change?
Into what too?
I'm sure you know about Charles Darwin, correct?
Go ahead and tell me the organism, please.
It's a bird. I just don't know the exact name.
The finch?
Yes.
Yeah, that didn't evolve. There was no genotypic change. As a matter of fact, those
Yes.
are two different species with two different embryological origins. I can put that on the screen for you right now, and I can show you the chromosomes and the phenotypic expression of the bird and how that is a completely different organism with introgress genes. But I'm not going to do
Please do.
that because you didn't even know the name of the organism. So why the fuck would I help you in an argument? So I'm going to ask you the base premise of how prokaryotes engulfed one another to create a eukaryotic cell animal. Since you don't know about nothing else but animals, go ahead and tell me what prokaryotic animals in nature have engulfed one another to create a eukaryotic cell organism, please.
I don't understand why you're being aggressive. I'm just trying to have a debate. Like, just.
And I'm not being aggressive, and you're not trying to have a debate because I asked you for science and you brought God. So you weren't genuine from the beginning. All right? So don't tell me about assertive. I want to know why the fuck you're in my mother's womb. I will never be happy-go-lucky clouds and cotton candy with you niggas. Ever. Not me. You're not supposed to be on the planet, bro. I'm asking you, how the fuck did you get here? I can explain to you down to the atom how I got here. You're saying you're trying to have a debate with God? Please. Like, what? Why did he create you not able to synthesize the sun? You sure you want to do that? They be playing. I'm trying to be civilized. Your genetics are not. You're like, please.
Exactly.
You could have been civilized by answering the question scientifically, biologically, and genetically, but you didn't even know the bird. You asking me, oh, what is it called? You can't ask me if you trying to debate me. You don't know how to debate. You don't know how to do it.
And these people will call us racist, but the thing is, all of your theories is built off of what y'all called racism.
You're saying AI,
Like,
but
what
we've
the
never.
hell?
You're saying AI, but we've never seen your God, and we've never seen a man give birth to anyone. We've never seen. First of all, none of the stories in the Bible or across any religions were historically proven.
Yeah.
So what are you talking about? Talking about AI? Talking about you didn't win? It's not a fucking game. You thought we was playing, huh? The sun is tapping your ass. That's not a game. We can actually see photocarcinogenesis, TP53, squamous cell carcinoma, basal cell carcinoma.
Double stranded breaks within
Like,
your DNA.
What are you talking about? And then they're talking
Molecular
about
breaks
race.
within your DNA because ionizing radiation literally breaks your DNA into pieces.
They like playing,
Till it's
man.
neck.
Yo.
Don, evolution, the biggest lie ever told. How do you feel about the prompt with science?
I think it does. In fact, I actually have a contact with Dr. Umar. I think we should get all of us up on a
Think
panel
it
with
does
Dr.
what?
Umar.
You think it does what? What do you mean you think it does?
I think evolution is the biggest lie ever told.
And why do you feel that way?
I heard you see the YSL case with Woody.
Child, what the fuck? The fuck is going on?
That's what he spends his time doing all day, watching another man called that name. You see what I'm saying? Instead of learning his own self. So I guess that's that with that guy.
Dr. Umar dates white women. What are you talking about? F1 in the chat. This TikTok live is for educational purposes only. He literally, there's a literal, he tells you all the time, as long as they have a little black, he okay with it. Like, what is you talking about? This man fucks YT women. You talking about he gonna get us all together. That nigga didn't even build the school for us, bro. That nigga is obese as hell. How he gonna teach me about my DNA, about my anatomy and my biology? And I'm not coming at anybody that is working on, you know what I'm saying, becoming more in tune with themselves. I'm not, but that's not a brother that's locked in. That's a brother that's Hollywood as fuck and a Freemason. Nigga talking about YSL and Woody. Two GAY ass niggas. Like, come on, man. Y'all gotta, like, talk about the prompt.
Yeah.
Talk about the prompt, y'all. Like, y'all gotta start talking about the prompt. Like, why y'all don't want to talk about the prompt, though? Why would Dr. Umar be the first thing that come out your mouth? Why do y'all always talk about men, like other men and shit? Like Darwin, well, the scientists, YSL, Woody, Dr. Umar. Like, what?
Yeah,
it's a god. Like, what the hell? Like
Dr. Umar, Tariq Nasheed, both of these people are both laying down with mixed animal hybrids.
I just got
They're
three.
both doing it. They're kind of talking about. Go ahead.
I'm just trying to say F1, please, because I just got 3 restrictions back to back. I don't know what I said because I spelled it out. But go ahead. Hold on.
That was it.
Yeah, evolution, the biggest lie ever told. Savior, go ahead with science, please.
Yeah, I think this is truth. I think you guys have cracked the code, and I can explain why. So Charleston White, he went on this Vlad Cat podcast.
You see? You see what I'm talking about?
That's what you spend your life doing. You watching other men all day. So the only thing you can recite and regurgitate is what these men did. That's what replaying you're telling me what's replaying in your mind all day. The fuck?
You bro got on a new account. Facts. Like, did you just switch accounts?
To talk about
three
new
men.
niggas?
Like, what's up? What's up? Like, tell us without telling us. Like,
this nigga got an inventory of niggas' names and their personality and their characteristics in their head.
You think that shit funny, but that's actually sad. That's not even a good way to joke. That's not mental
disorder.
Yeah, that's not funny. Like, look, y'all gotta start explaining it with science, man. Cause science is the study of the natural world. We can tell that these people, and it's not just them. Look, if anybody is in the live thinking that this is BOK versus YT, you're wrong. All right, this is about everything on the planet that does not biologically or genetically align. That means so-called Asians. That means so-called Mexicans. They don't stem from the same embryological origin as us. Just because they have a little bit of our DNA from mixing doesn't mean that they naturally stem from the same totipidin stem cell as us. That goes for cats, dogs. That goes for zebrafish. That goes for the housefly. That goes for mosquitoes. That goes for celery and potatoes. It's everything. Splicing has been taking place. I'm going to go ahead and say 200,000 to 600,000 years. 600,000 for sure, because that's how old the eukaryotic cell is. All right, let me see if this is somebody playing or if this is somebody for real. Dolan,
Cat Williams is a white man.
How do you feel about the white man? Science?
Cat Williams is a white man.
But yeah.
So this is about all of them. All eukaryotic life forms, birds. So a lot of your pigeons, mourning doves are supposed to be here. Pigeons are not.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Robins are supposed to be here, but some of the crows are not. And I said some, right? What is it? The Hunger Games series, and they talk about, what is it? Mockingjay and what's the other one? Blue, whatever it is. One of them, one. I don't even like them movies, but one of them is hybridized. Hell, that's the point of what I'm trying to say.
Mm-hmm.
All right, they've mutilated everything. They've injected butterflies in their portal with silicone, so now they don't have a natural response to the men of their species. Everything that can be touched, this entity has done it. And that's what the story of Noah and the Bible is talking about, with the rounding up of two organisms and the splicing of the cells. Now that's in stone, the Sumerian text.
Yeah.
That's why I say the religion is telling us what actually happened through allegory. Some of these things actually didn't happen. Like, the characters are not real. But the 12 disciples correspond with the 12 cranial nerves. Jacob's ladder is that. You see what I'm saying? Heaven and hell is upper and lower brain. Right? Higher frequency versus lower frequency. All of this, because we're actually studying alchemy right now. We're getting into like water distillation, but metallurgy and everything like that. Well, I've kind of been studying alchemy for like I would say about 5 years. I would say about 5 years, but really in the last like 2 to 3. And that's actually how they discovered gold. The gold rush was not real. They created so-called fool's gold in labs. Yep. Your metallurgy setups, what am I trying to say? Welding and stuff like that. That's a lab. That's just you're working with metals. You're working with so-called potions or chemicals, right? Even when it comes to like the hair or skin cells, because they hold energy.
Yeah.
So all of it, there was no gold rush. They created fool's gold in a lab. And they will tell you that the most prized thing on this planet is melanin.
Yeah.
And that melanin is worth more than gold. So now I got to look into the gold, because most of the things that we consider to be gold is not real, even if you test it. That's a tester for fool's gold. Come on. 100% fake. Thank you. like, come on. And these rappers, that's what I'm saying. Pendar, behind closed doors, the so-called Illuminati. I don't know if that's a trigger word. F1 in the chat.
It just means illuminated one.
Yeah, illuminated one. Who he trying to be? Why is he saying that? Why you see what I'm saying? Because he's promising these celebrities the fame, fortune, and this should be fake. And the most prized thing in the cosmos is the electron. You see what I'm saying? So the neuromelanated people in the industry, the Freemasons that's working for them, they don't even know themselves. They under Shmemk Ultra. Is it called mean kurtosis?
Yeah, mean kurtosis, which is what it's called brain. Which is a process where they use brain imaging to psychologically induce illusions within an organism. You see what I'm saying? People know about that, the ultra. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Mean kurtosis ultra.
Yeah, and that goes. My bad.
No, you good, baby.
Yeah, because that goes back to the 40s. That didn't just start, and there's so many. Like, people only want to talk about the so-called cold WAR, but they was already doing that. They've been working with robotics since the 9th century. You see what I'm saying? They've been tampering with engineering, like creating a clock is robotics. Anything that maneuvers, moves, that is robotics. So that's why we always tell y'all that when it comes to genetic engineering, you have to look at the build. That's why you got to study all sciences. You got to look, before it was a microscope, what were they using? Them little glass slides. You see what I'm saying? Before the Bunsen burner, what was it? Why did they get to that? What were they trying to do? Right before the telescope, what was used? How did these things come about? In order for you to create a robot on the assembly line every 15 minutes, how did y'all get to that point? You know what I'm saying? How did you get to this point to be able to just roll them out like that? That's why we got to understand science is telling you everything that took place on this planet.
Yeah. It's
like opening a portal and looking through it and actually seeing through memory, because they can't do that. They can't. They don't. The brain is meant to receive information. It's not meant to store energy or store information. You see what I'm saying? The neuromelanin, the morphic field, is responsible for doing that, because it is that. The brain, that's why I say thoughts are meant to pass. Is this your thoughts? Where this come from? We're quantumly connected, so this couldn't have been yours. And they're manipulating frequencies all day through the air with nanotech. So, yeah, y'all.
Yep, and that's why they have to, like, the children that are getting snatched, they have to induce them with a lot of amount of fear and trauma, because this makes them secrete adrenochrome. You see what I'm saying? And that substance is literally neuromelanin in its highest state. It's in its vibratory state. But when you're in fear, the electrons within that neuromelanin are unstable. You see what I'm saying? But they're still in high energy. So this is why they drink it, to have forever life or immortality. You see what I'm saying? This is what they're doing to us with our neuromelanin. This is why it's important for us to get back to our cosmic self, so we can get back to our babies. We can't do it in this state, like she said. You see what I'm saying? Like, the 8 million children are going missing every day. Every year. 2,000 a day in America.
Somebody said, do I have books? Yes, I have some on my page, and I will be posting more. This is my second page, y'all. I just got banned like a week or so ago. So I had tons of information, tons of videos of the doctors that I'm talking. Well, I won't say tons, but I had a couple of those videos of the doctors actually talking. But I had tons of books posted on there. I will post more. I lost a lot of stuff. I had to create storage to download the lives. So, you know what I'm saying? I'm doing the best that I can to get everything out. But I would say that the most important book that's the neuromelanated people need to read, at least one page, like even just one single page, Why Darkness Matters.
Yep.
One single page of that is enough. Damn, the train. Damn, that shit loud. But it's throwing me off. That's why. What Makes Black People Black by Layla Africa. That's a 60-page book, you know? Just one single page of that will literally unlock a lot. You know, you'll struggle with getting past page 12 or 14 because one single page is jam-packed with a lot of information. Also, sitting down with the lectures, Dr. Layla Africa, Dr. Delbert Blair. Dr. Delbert Blair predicted everything that we're seeing take place on the planet with UVC radiation. He already was talking about the El Nino in the 80s. This exact one, like what we're seeing today.
It never stopped.
It never stopped. I'm talking about like how it's actually expressing right now. That's why, that was predicted by one man because he entered and overstood science. Yep. That's why our DNA is past, present, and future. Because we anciently understood science. That's how connected we are to the world, is to be able to explain it physically. Yeah, so...
Yeah, we're able to translate truth in all frequencies. That's the thing about our species. We're the perfect absorbers, according to physics, but we're also the perfect emitters.
Facts. I'm trying to go through some of the comments. Let's see. I answered the stuff about the books. They think the most dark shit. Yep. Makes sense. Yep. The brother is cooking with the Philosopher's Stone.
The Philosopher's Stone. Yep. That's what I was saying. That's what the adrenochrome, when you crystallize it, it becomes a Philosopher's Stone. You see what I'm saying? That's what they say. Alchemy was the process of them trying to make gold in the lab. They were trying to recreate neuromelanin. That's why there's synthetic in vitro synthetic neuromelanin today. They were trying to create neuromelanin. That was the goal that they were trying to create. Because when a neuromelanated organism opens their inner eye with intelligence, knowledge of self, and wisdom, their body starts to, through cellular nucleosynthesis, the elements that we start to make in our body is we start to create crystals that have the potential to do anything. You see what I'm saying? Just like the totipidin stem cells that is inside our women, we make chemicals that crystallize and we let it off our pores.
Yeah, somebody said, will we suggest going back to school? No. When you really don't need to go to school for prokaryotes and eukaryotes and understand the foundation of them, because it is taught at a 5th grade level. Like it's basic. A 10-year-old can understand the function. I would say sit down with some genetics books though, learn about biology. Study under some of the doctors that I'm telling you about, because going to school is what keeps the system going.
Yeah.
We're not trying to manifest that. Every day that you go to work or whatever it is that you do, your motive should be for this to shut down. You should only be using the money to stock up on water, solar lights. You see what I'm saying? Life straws to help you transition to rely more on nature for when this does shut down. So no, I don't advise going to school. I advise you being in the sun though, because that's what literally, I'm going to say something that's kind of like, you know what I'm saying, remedial or whatever, but being in the sun is what makes you smarter. And I'm not saying that to be funny. It literally unlocks dormant deoxyetheric acid. That the sun is emitting thing that's functioning your body and your cells. So reading, being on the proper diet, and in the sun every day is all we need. Because we already have this information. That's what I'm saying. We had this information in the 70s and we're bringing it to the public and we're telling each other about it. 80s, 90s, and here we are today.
Yep. If you've seen a blade of grass, if you've seen an ant, if you've seen a bee, if you see yourself in the mirror, you've been exposed to the truth. You've been exposed to the truth. So why would I need to go to school when I'm exposed to the truth every day? See what I'm saying? Earth is the school. Nature is the school. See what I'm saying? Once you're back in nature, you're back in school. You're back to learning who you truly are. See what I'm saying? Not what somebody else wants you to be. So that's what it is. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah, they say I love the sun, man. Okay, yep, facts. And it's just gonna keep getting hotter. Hotter and harder. So boards of mechs. We're not giving energy to the system. So we're not presenting this to scientists that are studying us. All scientists are studying us. Chemistry links back to Kemet, study of the black dot. They're studying us. They're studying our planet. They're studying our resources. They're studying our rocks. They're studying our mother's womb. I'm not going to present them information, number one, that they partially already know. Why do I need to present it to them? They're the ones that's keeping the truth away from us. Number two, why would I present anything to them? Why would I be in their face when they're snatching our children? We the ones that don't know this. Why would I present it to niggas that know? So let's see. All right, so let me say, why do you think black people still wear sunscreen? I don't know why they are still wearing it, but they don't genetically or biologically need that.
Because they're ignorant to their own genetics. And they think they're a human.
Yeah, we're uncomfortable in the sun because we're eating against our diet. We're drinking aquaminated water. We're breathing in nanotech. We're bathing in worm eggs, kidney cells, and snake venom. You were given 32 to 34 shots at birth, right? So the C19 is the same thing they gave you at birth, which is the same viruses that have been on this planet since 545 AD. So you because you have smallpox, because you've been schmaxinated, right? That's what we mean by antigens. They are giving that to us at birth, 32 shots of them, plus you eat the meat every day. Plus your mom was doing it and her mother was doing it, and we pass genetics down from mother to daughter, from old pole to new pole through binary fission and vertical gene transfer. All right, so because I actually started seeing sunscreen be pushed to us during the whole natural hair boom. When it was the black-owned hair care companies, black-owned skincare, at the tail end of that, sunscreen came out silently. And I was like, what the hell? And it's been on a slow rise since then. So, yeah, gratitude, Ronjo. Gratitude. You see what I'm saying? They're snatching our children for their stem cells and their adrenochrome. Our women and our girl children go missing the most for that, but that doesn't dismiss our boys and our men because they come from us. So that's the reason why our organs are rich in neuromelanin, which is life force. And the entity behind closed doors thinks that they gain so-called vitality from drinking blood, because these are immortal replicating cells. All right. So I'm going to go ahead and probably head out. Fact 17 children found in NYC, also Atlanta. Yep. No, you don't need sunscreen because you are the sun walking in the flesh. And you have neuromelanin, which is condensed sunlight.
Yep. If you're the sun in the flesh, do you see the sun? What is the sun doing with its energy? If you share genetics with the sun, what is the sun doing all day? You need to study that from the core out. If you share genetics and with the sun and you learn about the elemental atoms in that sun, learn about how these elemental atoms have relationship with each other. What do they do for their environment? You see what I'm saying? How do they utilize sunlight? You see what I'm saying? How does neuromelanin utilize sunlight? These are the type of things you have to understand. All the questions that we're asking in here can all be answered if we understood our DNA.
And I just want to answer two questions. Somebody said, I'm going to respond to a statement and then answer a question. Somebody said the vampires are in the Vatican. The vampires are around you. So here's what I want y'all to study vampire syndrome or porphyria. I'm going to type it in the chat for you. Because this right here, that's vampire syndrome. That genetic mutation right there is going to show you the receding gum line, them having to take to drink blood, the blood being in their urine, right? This is going to explain the whitening of the skin. That's a genetic mutation. The garlic aversion, that's associated with acute and congenital I don't know how to pronounce it good, porphyria. All right. If there's any sisters in here that's ever watched America's Next Top Model, Allison had acute porphyria. She couldn't take light in through her eyes. They made her eyes bleed. Right. And she was also very obsessed with blood. That's the genetic description for vampire syndrome. An obsession with blood. That's why it's offered to them by doctors, because they actually need it for their DNA. The receding gum lines to create the canine, like you see with so-called vampires. The lightening and paling of the skin, right? So when you think about things like the movie Twilight and the werewolves and shit like that, those are two genetic mutations. That's hypertrichosis, aka werewolf syndrome, versus porphyria, which is vampire syndrome. And then they have a YT woman in between the both of them that creates what? A hybridized child, which is a new species from the both of them. All right, so there's that. And somebody said, we don't need sunscreen. No, you do not need sunscreen. You're asking what about cancer? You need to be worried about your genetics and feeding your body properly, because cancer and diseases only fester when there's mucus. So you need to be in the sun to actually strip the body of antigens. That's why it's uncomfortable. Yep. If you can help it, turn your AC off. I haven't used AC in my house in 4 years. And sweat and get that shit out of your body, and make sure that you're alkaline with the spring water, either spring or distilled water, and natural fruits and vegetables, meaning no celery, right? No kale. Research the origin of the fruits and vegetables before you eat them. If they've been man-made or crossbred or domesticated for more than 4,000 to 5,000 years and their origin is not natural, please do not put it in your body. Because that's what causes cancer. It's from going against your genetics and then going in the sun, and then the sun deteriorating the antigens and the quality of the blood.
Yep.
So let's see. Is the blue Kachina and the red Kachina the reason the sun is amplified?
Yes, all stars amplify each other, but these two stars are messengers. One is to say, hey, stop what you're doing. You see what I'm saying? The blue Kachina. Then the red Kachina is to say, hey, your time, the time that you had to lock in with yourself is done. It's time to ascend now. That's what these two stars are here for. A messenger. They're messenger stars sent directly by the universe.
Somebody said, well, not that we can't, but our vitamin D is not. If you actually do this, go to Google or research, I'll say about a day or two, right? And type in just learn about different organisms that are high in neuromelanin, different fruits and vegetables that are high in neuromelanin. You're going to see that what they're calling vitamin D is neuromelanin. Vitamin D is not the only thing that you get from the sun. The sun is letting off interstellar gases and nanodiamonds, so you can't just be getting one vitamin from it. That would mean that these people's cells are being deteriorated by vitamin D. But vitamin D is in the cow's milk, isn't it? And that's what they're saying builds up their bones. So somebody got to be lying. All right. JS or Cash, somebody said, how many topics to reach until I have your mind right now? Like, how long does it take?
That's depending on you.
Yeah, I'm not the bar at all. I misspeak all the time. I'm still learning and I only know the basics. I'm number one, I don't know who I'm talking to. I'm a feminine. So if you're masculine, definitely don't push to have my mindset. Have your own mindset. Lock in. You've been here for a while, JS. I've seen you here for at least a year or two. If you've heard me speak for 3 months, look, y'all got to think. We do lives let's just say 3 times a week, and sometimes we go through 20, let's say 20 to 40 people alive, right? If we do 40 people alive for 3 days, that's 120 people in 1 week. How you don't have the basics down after that, after hearing it 120 times, plus you have YouTube where I download them and post them. All right, 2 out of the 3 last lives that I posted, 2 of them have captions on there for you. I spell the words out for you. I give you my train of thought. I put pictures up there.
Yep.
Are you studying? If you're not, then you shouldn't even be asking that question. Go sit with the information. You have to form your own mind because me and you stem from the same embryological origin, but stars have different luminosities. We're at different cycles. You see what I'm saying? Different consciousness. All right, so just keep going and don't give up on yourself.
Exactly. You have the only way you can receive intellect and information and wisdom and knowledge is only if you lighten your heart. That's all I'm gonna say to you. That's literally it. If your heart is still heavy and you're still holding jealousy, envy, no information can pass through your meridians. No light can pass through your meridians because your cells are going to be stressed. If your heart is stressed, then your whole body is stressed, and your whole body will stop what they're doing to stop and detach you from that stress. So that's the thing. Like, you have to understand that all of that begins with your own mind, with your own self. You got to sit down and confront yourself. That's what our people are scared to do, is confront themselves with the truth, because they're afraid of the things that they've done in the past and stuff like that. That you gotta face that. You see what I'm saying? You have to face everything that you've done within this system. Everything that's happening throughout your whole life. You got to be the judge of that. You got to know how to move forward with that. But you also know that the energy that you have within is going to affect everybody else without. So you have to know how to alchemize. You know what I'm saying?
Somebody said AC feels weird. I've never been able to take AC, especially in a car, ever since I was a little girl. Like in the summertime, I would literally bring a coat or a sweater to be in the car in the back seat because the AC is too cold for me. Like even when I first got my car, it was hard for me to drive around with AC. I don't understand how people do it. So yeah, it's gonna feel more foreign to you as you keep going. Somebody said, "What greens do you eat?" I've taken a break from eating leafy green vegetables for right now, like a small break because I'm growing my own. So romaine, I eat romaine. I eat green leaf lettuce, red leaf lettuce, and of course, like my sea veggies like nori, and I make sure it's 100%. What other veggies? I grow like I cultivate plantain broadleaf, so I eat that. I cultivate lamb's quarter, so I eat that. Literally whatever grows near me, dandelion greens, whatever the perennial or perennial season or whatever it is, whatever comes out of the ground, I study it, I cultivate it, and I grow it until it goes out of season, and then I use something else. So yeah, that's what I do for that. But you know, to cut your air off in the house, doesn't that change the oxygen level? I still run fans. I still have my windows open. It doesn't. I don't know what you mean by that.
Yeah,
that it changes the oxygen level.
You're gonna have to explain what you mean by the changes in oxygen level, because these atoms can go in and out of a building. They can phase in and out of buildings. They pass through buildings. They're not physical and dense. These particles vibrate at certain speeds, and if it's particles that are down to that state and size, they're vibrating at a fast speed to move through what you call walls or physical matter.
And that's just like, think about it, when you're outside, there's no AC.
Exactly.
So in nature, air conditioning doesn't exist. That's why it's unnatural. AC actually takes nutrition out of the bones. That's why it feels uncomfortable to the skin and to the bones. I used to feel the AC directly hit like my bones, and it's uncomfortable.
Yep, it strips the calcium out of your bones.
Yeah, Yeah, y'all. So gratitude for everybody, you know what I'm saying, pulling up. You know what I'm saying? I don't have my main account anymore. It was banned and taken. So I don't have it anymore. But that's why I say study it before you put it in your body. If nothing else, gratitude for everybody pulling up and sharing their frequency. We will talk to y'all.
Not for straight for